What's going on? I'm Larry Hoover Jr. and I'm rocking with Street Certified News.
Oh, it is your boy Kiss, man. Shout out to Street Certified News.
Yo, it's your boy L Hitter, Mr. Oh yeah, y'all already know what it is, man. I'm rocking with Street Certified News. We got behind the scenes, man. We're gonna tie this bitch up.
What up, it's your boy Bum J. We rocking with Street Certified News. Eastside Great.
Yeah, Street Certified News, man. Shout out Big Bo. Shout out Walker.
Street Certified, man. All day double blocks.
Yo, yo, yo. It's your boy Emric El Guapo, man. Street Certified News. And we back with another one. On May 25th, 2025, President Donald J. Trump will commute the federal prison sentence of Gangsta Disciple founder Larry Hoover. When this news came out, there was a lot of people who celebrated this news, as well as a lot of people who took rumor and innuendo and tried to run with it. Despite this news, we had posted the live interview with Larry Hoover Jr., where he stated that, his father was still not free and that they were seeking some sort of ruling from the governor of the state of Illinois, J.B. Pritzker. We decided, because of all the stuff that was going on, man, we decided to take our time, do our due diligence, and really give you guys an unbiased look at the 1973 murder case that got Larry Hoover 150 to 200 years in prison. Make sure y'all hit that like, comment, subscribe on the video, man. We took our time. We spoke with people close to the story. And, we presenting you right here, man. Unbiased information straight from the most reputable source in the streets, man. Hey, let's get right into it. On February 26, 1973, at approximately 8 p.m. on the corner of 68th and Low on Chicago's South Side, witnesses would hear a car stop in the alley behind a row of apartments. Soon after the car stopped, gunfire would be heard before the screeching sounds of a car pulling off. Walking through the alley, witnesses would then find the body of local drug dealer William Pookie Young lying dead before calling police. The victim, William Pookie Young, had been shot 6 times in the head and once in the arm. With only one witness and no direct evidence to point out the shooter, the Chicago police, in their 1973 ways, would begin doing, in quotation marks, police work, eventually bringing in a young disciple by the name of Larry Leverston on unrelated charges. After hours of interrogation, Larry Leverston that day would tell police and later testify that the killing of William Young had been ordered by Larry Hoover. Leverston would go on to tell authorities that Hoover, another suspect, Andrew Howard, and himself had been members of an organization known as The Family, which sold narcotics in the Inglewood area of Chicago. Leverston would go on to later testify that Larry Hoover, known as King Hoover, was the leader of the family. The Family, allegedly another name for the gangster disciples, originally was called the Supreme Gangsters. Led by a teenage Larry Hoover, the Supreme Gangsters would in the late 60s merge with a rival gang, the Devil Disciples, led by David Barksdale, to form the Black Gangster Disciple Nation. At the time of Larry Hoover's arrest in 1973, Chicago police had already for years been attempting to get him off the streets. I'm sure y'all know, by now, man. Chicago police have been, a corrupt police unit for decades. I would say leading up into the 2016 murder of Laquan McDonald, man, Chicago police have been known to be one of the most corrupt police organizations in the United States. So understand that, take it no different. 1973 Chicago police, man, what they call police work a lot of times meant enhanced interrogation tactics, torture, black sites, taking people off the streets without giving them charges and really holding them until they gave the police the information that they was looking for, man. So when we think about this 1973 case and we think about Larry Hoover and we think about, his position amongst the community and how people loved him at that time, those types of black men were systematically being taken off the streets. So we always got to think about that, even going back to this case, when we assess like how exactly did they arrest them, what was the evidence, and would this same type of evidence and this same type of police work lead to a conviction in today's age, which still isn't fair, but is a lot more, a lot more geared towards justice than it was in 1973.
Given witness statements, including those of Larry Leverston, Chicago police would arrest Andrew Howard for the murder of William Pookie Young, while also hoping to later indict Larry Hoover Sr. for the same crime. Andrew Howard, once arrested, police say, stated that on the day of the murder, he called Larry Hoover, who told him to bring in William Young. According to Chicago police, Howard stated that Pookie did not want to see Hoover, so Howard allowed him to leave. At Andrew Howard's preliminary hearing, before Hoover had even been arrested, witness Joshua Shaw's testimony placed Andrew Howard with Pookie Young before his murder. And Shaw would also testify that Howard had told a friend to shoot if Pookie tried to run. Sadly, before the actual trial, witness Joshua Shaw will be shot to death on September 27, 1973.
It's also important to understand that although the state of Illinois attempted to put the responsibility for the death of the witness Joshua Shaw, they attempted to put that responsibility on Larry Hoover. They brought it up in paperwork and in his subsequent appeal years later, but Larry Hoover was never charged for the death of Joshua Shaw. In fact, in the preliminary hearing testimony, Joshua Shaw would only mention Andrew Howard as someone he saw the day of the murder. So, for him to be blamed for that death but never charged, yet use that death as a reason to give him 150 to 200 years, again, like we said, we talking about 1973 Chicago Police Department. We talking about the Illinois justice system in the 70s, with black and brown people in the city of Chicago. There's a plethora of people who've been wrongfully convicted and recently released. So we got to think about who we're dealing with and what, tactics did they use at that time to get evidence.
On September 21st, 1973, Larry Hoover Sr. will be arrested after a simple traffic stop gone wrong, and later, at the station, charged with the murder of William Pookie Young. Hoover, during questioning, would deny having seen William Pookie Young or having talked to Andrew Howard that day in February of '73. While Howard's original statement police claim may have implicated Hoover, years later, Howard would claim he never made those statements on his friend, and Andrew Howard would eventually be indicted by federal authorities along with Larry Hoover Sr. and 37 others in 1996. To this day, Andrew Howard and Larry Hoover remain the only two men still incarcerated on that 1996 federal case. Despite his testimony and during cross-examination, Larry Leverston would admit that he was currently charged with murder during the trial. Given Hoover was only placed at the scene by Leverston, the defense at trial would question whether he was promised favorable treatment for testifying against Hoover and Howard. Larry Leverston would also testify that he and Howard were present at a meeting of the family approximately an hour and a half after William Young had been killed. Informant Leverston described how Howard took him into a bathroom and told him how he had taken Pookie Young to Hoover. Although prosecutors claim Andrew Howard admitted after his arrest that at Hoover's request, he brought Pookie Young to the Robbers Motel shortly before his death on February 26, 1973. The court would instruct the jury that an admission may not be considered by you against any defendant other than the one who made it. A hard ask given the overzealousness of police and prosecution in the first place. On December 10th, 1973, both Larry Hoover Sr. and Andrew D.D. Howard were convicted of the murder of William Pookie Young and sentenced to 150 to 200 years in state prison.
To this day, Larry Hoover Sr. and Andrew D.D. Howard are locked up for not only the murder of Pookie Young, but these are the only two men who are locked up on that 1996 federal RICO case to this day. You know, all the other defendants have been released. Although there was very little evidence, of course, the police and prosecutors would use the testimony of Larry Leverston, as well as police reports that claim Andrew Howard made statements during his original arrest. Doing our due diligence on this story, and like I said, there was a lot of people that were celebrating. It was some people just, you know, on the other side, it's always gonna be people that hate the real. There's a story that we kind of wanted to drop it like last week or the week before that, but it was so much lame, weird stuff going around that we just wanted to fall back, let things die down, and then come and hit y'all with the truth, man. Again, it's your boy MXL Guapo, man. Street Certified News, the most reputable source for urban media, man. We love you. Free Larry Hoover Sr., man. We out.